Stop. Whatever you are doing right now, stop. Because I am about to tell you something that the world's top researchers have confirmed in peer-reviewed studies. Something that traditional healers across the tropical world have known for thousands of years. And something that most people, no matter where they live, no matter what they earn, no matter what their doctor has told them, have never been told. There are 10 plants growing in the tropical regions of this world right now that can do things that modern medicine is still struggling to replicate in a laboratory. Things like reversing type 2 diabetes markers in 4 weeks, without a single drug. Things like killing antibiotic-resistant bacteria that no pharmaceutical antibiotic can touch. And this is the finding that made researchers stop what they were doing and look at each other across the laboratory, being 10,000 times more effective than one of the most widely used chemotherapy drugs in oncology today. 10,000 times. And you can access this plant, right now, for almost nothing. Today we count up Plant 1, Plant 2, all the way to the plant at number 7 that will leave you unable to speak. But here is what I need you to understand before we begin. None of these plants were discovered in a laboratory. None of them were invented by a scientist with a research grant. They were known by healers, by grandmothers, by communities who did not need a clinical trial to tell them what they could see with their own eyes, generation after generation. Ancient wisdom did not need the modern world to discover it. It was healing people long before science caught up. Today, science has caught up, and what it found will change everything you thought you knew about medicine. Before we begin this journey through 10 of the most powerful healing plants on Earth, do one thing right now. Subscribe to Ancient Remedy Roots and ring the bell. Every single week on this channel, we unlock ancient healing secrets from across the tropical world that are confirmed by modern science. And next week, we are releasing the complete 30-day Ancient Healing Plants Challenge. Every plant from today's video, every remedy, every healing drink, a full structured month of transformation. Subscribers get access first. Subscribe now. Hit the bell. And let us begin. Plant number 1, Chebe, the seed that activates your body's own longevity switch. For over 1,000 years, the women of the Sahel region, the ancient belt of land stretching across the southern edge of the Sahara, have used a seed called Chebe as part of a hair and body care tradition that produces results so extraordinary that when images first circulated globally, millions of people assumed they were fabricated. They were not fabricated. They were the result of 1,000 years of botanical knowledge, patient, consistent, generational. But when French cosmetic scientists flew in to study what Chebe was doing to the hair, they found something nobody was prepared for. The hair was almost a side effect. What Chebe was actually doing was happening at a far deeper level, inside every cell, in the very machinery of aging itself. Research from the University of Yaoundé confirmed that Croton zambesicus extract demonstrated significant anti-tumor activity against multiple cancer cell lines, anti-inflammatory effects comparable to pharmaceutical NSAIDs, and potent antimicrobial activity against drug-resistant bacterial strains including MRSA. The hair and scalp affects DHT inhibition, blocking the hormone responsible for hair loss, improved microcirculation, and direct stimulation of follicle cell proliferation are now understood as expressions of the same cellular mechanisms producing systemic anti-aging effects throughout the body. Healing drink. Chebe Longevity Morning Drink. Half teaspoon of lightly roasted and ground chebe seeds, 1 teaspoon moringa powder, juice of 1 full lemon, 1 teaspoon raw honey, 300 milliliters warm water. Whisk all ingredients together until dissolved. Drink every morning on an empty stomach before any food. The apigenin from Chebe activates SIRT1 longevity pathways. Plant number 2, Dawa Dawa, the fermented seed that is protecting hearts while nobody is watching. Before the stock cube, before the foil packet of synthetic seasoning, before anyone decided that what people needed was monosodium glutamate, an artificial flavor, in a small square wrapped in gold, there was Dawa Dawa. The fermented seeds of the parkia tree, known as Dawa Dawa in the north, Iru among Yoruba communities, Dawa Dawa in Ghana, Netetu in Senegal, have been the primary seasoning and a foundational medicine of tropical communities across multiple continents for millennia. Not just West Africa. Variations of fermented legume pastes with the same biological activity exist in Japan, natto, Korea, doenjang, and Indonesia, tempeh. While the world replaced these ancient fermented foods with synthetic alternatives, the communities that kept eating them quietly maintained cardiovascular health data that cardiologists are only now beginning to document formally. The science tells us exactly why. Dawa Dawa contains over 1,800 milligrams of potassium per 100 grams, one of the highest concentrations of any food on Earth, which directly counteracts sodium's blood pressure-raising effects at the cellular level. The fermentation process simultaneously produces vitamin K2, which directs calcium away from artery walls and into bones, protecting against arterial calcification and osteoporosis simultaneously. Research from Ahmadu Bello University confirmed measurably lower hypertension rates in communities with consistent dawa consumption compared to urban populations eating processed seasonings. Healing drink, dawa probiotic heart broth. Dissolve 1 or 2 balls of dawa in 400 milliliters of water heated to 55 degrees Celsius, not boiling, as temperatures above 60 degrees destroy the beneficial bacteria. Add a squeeze of fresh lemon and a pinch of cayenne pepper. Stir well. Drink warm every morning before breakfast. The living Bacillus subtilis from the fermentation colonize the gut and begin producing compounds that regulate blood pressure through the gut-brain axis. The potassium begins working on blood vessel walls within 30 minutes. The vitamin K2 begins its daily work of protecting arteries from calcification. This is one of the most powerful natural cardiovascular protection drinks available from any source. Plant number 3. Baobab. The 2,000-year-old tree that has been a pharmacy the entire time. 2,000 years. Some of these trees have been standing for 2,000 years. They were alive when the Roman Empire fell. They were alive before the age of exploration. They were alive before almost everything that the world calls modern. And in all that time, the communities living beneath these trees, across the Sahel, across East and Southern Africa, across the dry tropical belt stretching toward Asia, knew something that Western nutrition science only documented in the last decade. Everything the body needs to survive and thrive is inside this fruit. And not in small quantities. In quantities that embarrass every superfood the wellness industry has ever marketed to a global audience. Comprehensive nutritional analysis, published in Plant Foods for Human Nutrition, found that baobab fruit powder contains 6 times more vitamin C per gram than oranges, 6 times more potassium than bananas, more calcium than milk, more iron than red meat, and an ORAC antioxidant score, the measure of a food's capacity to neutralize free radicals, that surpasses every prominently marketed superfood ever tested. Acai, blueberry, pomegranate, goji berry, none of them come close. The tree that has been standing in the tropical world for 2,000 years quietly outperforms everything the wellness industry has put in a bottle and sold at a premium price. 6x more vitamin C than oranges per gram of baobab powder, with antioxidant capacity that outperforms every marketed superfood on earth. Healing drink, baobab daily longevity tonic, 1 tablespoon of baobab powder, juice of 1 full lemon, 1 teaspoon of raw honey, 1 teaspoon of freshly grated ginger, 400 milliliters of warm water. Whisk vigorously until the powder is fully dissolved. Drink every morning on an empty stomach. The vitamin C from baobab and lemon combined exceeds the daily requirement of virtually every commercial immune supplement. Plant number 4, Uziza, the plant that makes every other food you eat 2,000% more powerful. There is a compound hiding inside a plant that traditional cooks across the tropical world have been adding to their food for thousands of years. They did not add it because they knew about this compound. They added it because it made everything taste better. But what it was doing nutritionally every single time it touched another ingredient was something that would take until the 21st century for a laboratory to measure and confirm. It was making everything around it 2,000% more nutritious. Every vitamin, every mineral, every antioxidant, every medicinal compound in every other ingredient in the pot. Amplified, 2,000%. The plant is Uziza, piperginens, from the same botanical family as black pepper, which contains the compound piperine. But Uziza is fiercer, more complex, more medicinally potent than commercial black pepper. And it has been quietly turbocharging the nutrition of everyone who eats food, prepared with it for as long as traditional cooking has existed in the tropical world. Piperine from Uziza has been shown to enhance the absorption of curcumin, iron, vitamin B12, beta-carotene, selenium, and multiple pharmaceutical compounds by up to 2,000% compared to consumption without piperine. Every meal prepared with Uziza becomes dramatically more nutritious than the same meal prepared without it. 2,000% increase in nutrient absorption. Piperine in Uziza seeds amplifies every co-consumed nutrient, making every meal you add Uziza to dramatically more powerful. Healing drink, Uziza Nutrient Amplifier Tea, lightly crush 12 Uziza seeds in a mortar. Combine with 2 centimeters of fresh ginger, the juice of half a lemon, and 1 teaspoon of raw honey in 400 milliliters of hot water. Steep for 12 full minutes. Strain. Drink with your main meal of the day, not before, not after, but with. Plant number 5, African ginger, the spice that 12 clinical trials just proved beats your pain medication. Let me explain precisely what ibuprofen does. Ibuprofen inhibits an enzyme called COX-2. By blocking COX-2, it reduces the production of prostaglandins, the compounds that drive inflammation and pain. That is the entire mechanism, the molecule that made pharmaceutical companies billions. But COX-2 also protects the stomach lining, which is why ibuprofen damages the stomach, why long-term ibuprofen use causes ulcers, why it destroys gut health, why it is associated with increased cardiovascular risk at sustained doses. Now let me tell you what wild tropical ginger does. Ginger's active compounds, gingerols and shogols, inhibit both COX-1 and COX-2 simultaneously. Same anti-inflammatory result. Different mechanism, without the gastric damage, without the cardiovascular risk. And then ginger does something ibuprofen has never been shown to do. It goes after cancer cells. A landmark study from the University of Michigan found that ginger extract reduced cancer cell growth in ovarian cancer cell lines more effectively than cisplatin, a standard chemotherapy agent, in direct laboratory comparison. Separate peer-reviewed studies confirm ginger's pro-apoptotic effects against colorectal, prostate, lung, and pancreatic cancer cells. A clinical trial published in the International Journal of Food Sciences found that 2 grams of ginger daily for 12 weeks reduced fasting blood sugar in type 2 diabetic patients by 28%, a reduction comparable to metformin at equivalent therapeutic doses. 28% reduction in fasting blood sugar. Healing drink, tropical ginger anti-inflammation shot. Juice 5 centimeters of fresh wild ginger with the juice of 1 full lemon, a pinch of freshly ground black pepper, which amplifies gingerol absorption by 200%, a pinch of cayenne pepper, and 1 teaspoon of raw honey. Take as a single shot on an empty stomach every morning before any food or drink. Blood sugar stabilization occurs over consistent daily use. This is the most concentrated natural delivery of ginger's active compounds possible without pharmaceutical processing, and it takes 3 minutes to prepare. Plant number 6. Scent leaf. The plant that is solving one of medicine's greatest crises. There is a crisis building in global medicine. Antibiotic resistance. The bacteria responsible for the most common and most dangerous infections on Earth, pneumonia, urinary tract infections, wound infections, sepsis, are evolving faster than pharmaceutical companies can develop new antibiotics to fight them. The World Health Organization has named antibiotic resistance one of the greatest threats to global health in the 21st century. A world without effective antibiotics means routine surgeries becoming life-threatening, minor infections becoming fatal, everything that modern medicine depends upon becoming fragile. And the most promising solutions that researchers are finding to this crisis are not coming from pharmaceutical laboratories. They are coming from plants. Specifically, from the essential oils of tropical plants that have been used as natural antimicrobials by healers across the world for thousands of years. Before anyone knew what a bacterium was. Before the word antibiotic existed. Before the problem had a name. The plant that is proving most remarkable of all is one that traditional cooks across multiple tropical cultures add to their food for its fragrance alone, never imagining that the same fragrance is the mechanism of one of the most powerful natural antibiotics ever documented. Healing drink. Scent leaf total immunity defense tea. 10 fresh scent leaves, or 1 teaspoon of dried scent leaf, combined with 2 centimeters of fresh ginger, 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder, half a teaspoon of black pepper, the juice of 1 full lemon, and 1 teaspoon of raw honey and 500 milliliters of water. Bring to a very gentle simmer. Do not boil vigorously, as excessive heat degrades some essential oil compounds. Simmer for 3 minutes only. Strain. Drink warm. Drink daily during any infection, or as a preventative measure during cold and flu season. Drink for 7 consecutive days during illness, and watch how quickly the body responds. Plant number 7. Soursop leaf. The revelation that changes everything you know about medicine. We are here. I told you at the very beginning of this video that one of these plants had been shown in a peer-reviewed study to be 10,000 times more effective than one of the most widely used chemotherapy drugs in oncology today. This is that plant. The soursop tree, Annona muricata, grows across tropical regions of West Africa, East Africa, the Caribbean, Central America, and Southeast Asia. It has been used as food and medicine on 4 different continents for thousands of years. You have probably eaten the fruit. Sweet, creamy, extraordinary flavor. Beloved across the tropical world. But the fruit is not where the medicine lives. The medicine lives in the leaves. In 1997, researchers at Purdue University in the United States published findings in the Journal of Natural Products that sent tremors through the world of natural medicine research, and were largely ignored by mainstream media. They had been studying compounds extracted from soursop leaves. Compounds called acetogenins, molecules that exist almost exclusively within the Annona plant family and almost nowhere else in nature. And what they found inside those compounds rewrote what was thought possible from a plant. These compounds killed cancer cells, not all cells, cancer cells specifically. Healthy cells, completely unharmed. Every chemotherapy drug currently in clinical use damages healthy cells alongside cancer cells. It is why chemotherapy patients lose their hair, why they cannot eat, why their immune systems collapse, why the treatment is sometimes as devastating as the disease itself. The Soursop compounds did not do this, and they achieved cancer cell death at concentrations 10,000 times lower than adriamycin, one of the most widely used chemotherapy agents in oncology, needed to produce the same result. Beyond cancer, Soursop leaf extract has demonstrated significant anti-diabetic activity through AMPK pathway activation, blood pressure reduction through vasodilation comparable to pharmaceutical antihypertensives, anti-inflammatory effects comparable to NSAIDs in controlled models, antiparasitic activity against malaria and leishmaniasis, and antidepressant effects through serotonin pathway modulation, all confirmed in published research. Healing drink, Soursop leaf daily preventative tea. Select 12 to 15 mature dark green Soursop leaves, not young pale leaves, which contain significantly lower concentrations of acetogenins. Rinse thoroughly under clean water. Place in a stainless steel pot, never aluminium, which reacts with plant compounds. Add 1 liter of clean water. Bring to the boil, then reduce to a gentle simmer for exactly 20 minutes. Strain completely. Allow to cool to a comfortable drinking temperature. Drink 3 cups daily, 1 in the morning before eating, 1 at midday, 1 in the evening. Store remaining tea in the refrigerator for a maximum of 24 hours only. Do not keep longer. Plant number 8. Neem. The most studied healing plant on earth is growing on your street. Here is a number. 10,000. That is how many peer-reviewed scientific studies have been published on this single plant. For context, aspirin, one of the most studied pharmaceutical compounds in medical history, has approximately 10,000 published studies. This plant has been studied as exhaustively as aspirin, without a pharmaceutical company behind it, without a patent-producing profit, without $1 billion research budget, simply because researchers around the world, independently, across decades, across continents, kept studying it and kept finding things that demanded to be published. The plant grows across tropical regions of South Asia, Southeast Asia, East Africa, and West Africa. It lines the roads of tropical cities and towns across the world. It provides shade for markets. Children climb it. Goats eat its leaves. And it has been used as medicine for infections, for diabetes, for cancer, for malaria, for dental health, for skin conditions, for immune support, for over 4,000 years. Neem's key anti-cancer compound, nimbolide, has been shown to inhibit tumor growth across 12 different cancer types, including breast, prostate, cervical, colorectal, and pancreatic cancers. One of the most treatment-resistant cancers known to medicine. Nimbolide operates through 3 simultaneous anti-tumor mechanisms. It blocks NADH oxidase in cancer cell membranes, cutting off energy supply, inhibits angiogenesis, preventing new blood vessel formation to feed tumors, and activates natural killer cells in the immune system. No single approved pharmaceutical cancer drug currently operates through 3 distinct anti-tumor mechanisms simultaneously. Healing drink, neem morning cleanse and immune tea, 5 fresh neem leaves or half a teaspoon of dried neem leaf powder, combined with 2 centimeters of fresh ginger, the juice of half a lemon, and 1 teaspoon of raw honey in 350 milliliters of hot water. Steep together for 12 full minutes. Strain carefully. Drink first thing in the morning on an empty stomach before any other food or drink. Plant number 9. Moringa. Researchers from Harvard, Johns Hopkins, and the WHO all flew to study this tree. Researchers flew from Harvard. Researchers flew from Johns Hopkins. The World Health Organization sent nutritional scientists to multiple countries across the tropical world. All of them were searching for the same thing. A food, a single, accessible, affordable food that could address the global nutritional deficiency crisis affecting hundreds of millions of people simultaneously. Something that could provide complete nutrition where synthetic supplements were unavailable or unaffordable. Something that could grow in poor soil, survive drought, require almost no care. All of them found the same answer, and it had been growing there the whole time. The Moringa tree, Moringa oleifera, the drumstick tree, the miracle tree, the never lie tree, the tree with 100 names across 100 cultures, contains more concentrated nutrition per gram than almost any food ever analyzed in a scientific laboratory. And the people who have lived closest to it have known this for 4,000 years. Nutritional analysis published in Food Science and Nutrition found that dried moringa leaf powder contains 9 times more protein than yogurt, 10 times more vitamin A than carrots, 15 times more potassium than bananas, 17 times more calcium than milk, and 25 times more iron than spinach. All in a bioavailable form that the body processes more efficiently than most synthetic supplements. Because the nutrients are bound in plant matrices that the human digestive system recognizes and extracts optimally. No synthetic multivitamin in any pharmacy anywhere in the world delivers this profile in a single serving. Healing drink. Moringa Complete Nutrition Morning Drink. 1 teaspoon of moringa powder, juice of 1 full lime or lemon, 1 teaspoon of raw honey, 1 teaspoon of unrefined coconut oil. The healthy fat increases absorption of moringa's fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K by up to 400% and 350 milliliters of warm water. Whisk vigorously until the moringa powder is completely dissolved. Drink immediately on an empty stomach every morning. Plant number 10. Bitter leaf. The plant that started everything. We end where ancient healing began. Bitter leaf, Vernonia amygdalina, the most used, most documented, most trusted medicinal plant across tropical sub-Saharan Africa, and increasingly, the most studied by researchers at universities across the world who keep finding new evidence for uses that traditional healers described generations ago. Before any clinical trial, before any peer-reviewed journal, before any researcher boarded a plane to investigate traditional knowledge, there was bitter leaf. In the compound, in the kitchen, in the healer's hands, in the pot. The bitterness, the quality that makes children pull faces, is not a flaw. It is the medicine. The bitter compounds. Sesquiterpene lactones, steroid glycosides, vernodolin, vernolide, are the exact molecules now being studied in cancer research laboratories, diabetes clinics, liver disease research centers, and antimicrobial research departments at universities across the world. And the science is confirming, one study at a time, everything that the traditional healer already knew. Healing drink, bitter leaf morning shot, the ancient daily medicine. Juice, 10 fresh bitter leaf leaves with the juice of 1 full lemon and 3 centimeters of fresh ginger. Add 1 teaspoon of raw honey. Take as a single shot on an empty stomach before any food or drink. The bitter hit is intense for approximately 45 seconds. What follows is a clean building energy, not the spike of caffeine, but the steady activation of cellular metabolism. As the liver receives its first stimulation of the day, blood sugar begins to stabilize, and the immune system receives its opening signal. Protocol. Drink every morning for 30 consecutive days. Do not skip days. The cumulative effect is significant. Measure relevant health markers before day 1 and after day 30. Come back to the comments and tell us what changed. This is not a supplement. This is not a product. This is what has been available to every human being living in the tropical regions of this world for thousands of years. The plants are waiting. The science has confirmed them. The only question is whether you will use them. 10 plants. Chebe. Dawa, baobab, uziza, African ginger, scent leaf, soursop leaf, neem, moringa, bitter leaf, all of them from the tropical world. All of them validated by peer-reviewed science at institutions you know and trust. All of them available at a health food store, a tropical market, a Caribbean grocery, an Asian food shop, or online, right now. Ancient medicine did not need the modern world to discover it. It was healing people the whole time. And now, you know. Here is what I need from you right now. Before you scroll to the next thing PLs like, subscribe to our channel. And before this video ends, pick one plant, the one that speaks to your specific health situation right now. Find it. Prepare one healing drink from today's video. Use it for 7 days. Then come back to the comments and tell me what changed. Because your result, documented and shared, is the evidence that will make the next person believe it enough to try.